Ever been ignored by someone you genuinely care about? That cold, dismissive silence can sting, can't it? But here's the truth. How you respond in that moment determines whether you rise above the situation or let it define you. In today's video, we'll dive deep into a powerful Stoic approach to handle being ignored. Not to lash out, but to silently destroy their ego by mastering your own emotions. The power of silence. First, understand this fundamental truth: silence is not a weakness. When someone ignores you, it's often a play for power, a way to control the narrative, the emotions, and even your self-worth. But here's the twist. You can turn their tactic against them. By matching their silence with your own, you signal one thing: I do not seek your validation, and I am not emotionally dependent on you. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let them wonder why you're not chasing them. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Detach and reclaim your power." Step 2. Detach emotionally. Stoicism teaches us to separate what we can control from what we cannot. You cannot control her reaction, her silence, or her behavior. But you can control your response. Instead of sitting in frustration, redirect your focus inward. Ask yourself, why does her silence bother me? What am I truly seeking from this relationship? These moments of introspection are not just empowering, they're transformative. When you stop giving her the power to control your emotions, you subtly reclaim control of the dynamic. She'll sense the shift, and trust me, it'll shake her ego. Elevate yourself instead of chasing. The next move is simple but impactful. Focus on self-improvement. When you're ignored, the instinct might be to prove your worth. But real worth doesn't beg for recognition. Instead, channel your energy into becoming the best version of yourself. Start a new project, dive into a passion, or invest in your physical and mental health. This isn't about pretending to be unaffected. It's about genuinely rising above the situation. As Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. When she sees your confidence and growth, her silence will no longer be your burden. It will become her regret. The psychological edge. Here's where the psychological game comes in, subtly but firmly. Show that her absence has zero impact on your life. This doesn't mean playing childish games or trying to make her jealous. Instead, let your actions speak. Post about your growth, your wins, and your happiness, not to provoke her, but to remind yourself of your own value. This creates a powerful shift. She'll start to question her decision to ignore you. Why? Because the most unsettling thing for anyone trying to assert control is realizing that their actions have no effect. You become untouchable. You destroy her ego not by confrontation, but by thriving. The ultimate Stoic approach. Finally, embrace indifference. Stoics believe in maintaining balance, never letting the highs make you arrogant or the lows make you desperate. The same applies here. If she returns, treat her with respect, but on your terms. If she doesn't, respect yourself enough to move forward without her. Remember, the goal isn't revenge or manipulation. It's self-mastery. In the words of Seneca, he who is brave is free. Free yourself from the chains of others' opinions, actions, or silence. That's true freedom, and it's the most powerful response you can give. When someone ignores you, don't waste your energy chasing, explaining, or proving yourself. Instead, rise above. Let their silence be the fuel for your growth. The best way to destroy her ego is to master your own, and in mastering yourself, you'll realize you never needed their attention to begin with. She ignored your call, she left your message unread, she acts like you don't exist. What now? Do you chase her, plead for her attention, or let her control your emotions? Absolutely not. Today I'll reveal a powerful Stoic-inspired strategy to not just respond to her silence, but to transform yourself into someone so unshakable that her silence loses all its power. Watch closely, because this isn't about petty games. This is about reclaiming your worth and silently dismantling her ego by becoming untouchable. The ego behind ignoring. First, let's break this down. Why is she ignoring you? Often, it's a subtle way of saying, I'm in control. It's about ego, a game of power. When someone ignores you, they're testing how much influence they have over your emotions. But here's the truth, power only exists when it's acknowledged. If you react, if you beg for her attention, you hand her the power she craves. But if you remain calm, collected, and indifferent, you dismantle her strategy. Her ego begins to crumble when she realizes her silence holds no sway over you. The art of non-reaction. The first rule of handling silence is this: don't react emotionally. In Stoicism, non-reaction is a sign of mastery. Epictetus once said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. When she ignores you, respond with nothing but calm. Avoid any text like, did I do something wrong? Or, why are you ignoring me? Instead, let the silence linger. This isn't passive aggression, it's emotional self-control. You're showing that your peace is non-negotiable and that her behavior won't disrupt your balance. The less you react, the more her silence becomes her burden to bear, not yours. Master the psychological shift. Now let's flip the script. While she's playing games, you're elevating your value. Every second you spend obsessing over her silence is a second wasted. Instead, redirect your energy toward becoming someone she can't afford to ignore. Invest in your growth. Start a new habit, learn a skill, or improve your fitness. Growth makes you magnetic. Dominate your space. Be seen thriving. Post your wins subtly, not as a jab at her, but as a reminder to yourself that you're progressing. Expand your circle. Engage with new people, friends, mentors, or even romantic interests. This signals that her absence isn't affecting your life. The key here is authenticity. You're not faking confidence, you're building it. And as you grow, her perception of your value shifts. What was once indifference will turn into curiosity and eventually regret. The silent weapon: indifference. Indifference is your ultimate weapon. To someone trying to control you, there's nothing more unsettling than realizing their tactics don't work. Stay unavailable. Don't respond immediately when she finally reaches out. Let her wonder where your focus has gone. Set boundaries. If she asks for your time, ensure it's on your terms. You're not a backup plan or a last resort. Maintain mystery. Avoid over-explaining or seeking closure. Your silence should make her question, not find reassurance. As Marcus Aurelius advised, be indifferent to what makes no difference. By detaching emotionally, you signal that your peace doesn't depend on anyone else's actions. The ego reset, a Stoic perspective. By now you've detached, elevated yourself, and embraced indifference. But there's one final step, the ego reset. Stoicism teaches us to focus on internal validation rather than external approval. If her silence bothers you, it's because you're seeking something external, whether it's love, validation, or respect. But what happens when you give those things to yourself? Ask yourself, what do I truly need from her that I can't give myself? When you answer that honestly, you'll realize that no one's silence can rob you of your worth. Your ego isn't tied to her approval. It's tied to your principles, your growth, and your peace. This realization is the ultimate ego destroyer, not hers, but yours. When you no longer cling to external validation, you become untouchable. And in doing so, you naturally dismantle her ego, because she'll see she never had the power she thought she did. When someone ignores you, don't waste your time asking why. Instead, focus on becoming someone who doesn't need to ask at all. Remember, silence isn't an insult. It's an opportunity. It's your chance to rise above, to master yourself, and to embody the principles of true Stoicism. And here's the kicker, when you stop chasing her, when you focus entirely on yourself, something strange happens. She notices, she rethinks, she regrets, but by that point you'll have risen so high that her opinion will no longer matter.